Congratulations on your purchase of an X300 Series or X500 Series John Deere Lawn Tractor or Lawn and Garden Tractor. Today's video is going to talk about the operation and maintenance of the machines. There's a lot of similarities between the X300s and the X500s, but there are some things that you will only find on the X500 Series tractors. Those will be pointed out later on in the video. Today, I want to start with the basic operation of the machine, some maintenance items, a daily checklist. Just kind of go through and make it so that you're more familiar and comfortable with your machine. Let's start with the heart of the machine. We'll open up the hood. Hood is easily opened just by putting your fingers up here in this notch and pull forward. There are several things that I want to point out. Your air filter is located underneath this cover. If you pop up the tab, you can see your air filter. Now, this is a new machine, so it is kind of a cheat, but the air filter is very clean. Check your air filter daily to make sure that it is clean or clear. Knock off any excess debris that's on it. You can tap it on the tire. You can tap it on your hand, but I would refrain from using compressed air. If the air pressure is too high, you could actually rip the filter and cause more damage than you are doing good. Put the air filter back in. The wing nut the hose clamp does have a wing nut type handle on it, so it's very easy to tighten back up. Tip this down, snap it in place. We have the battery right here, and one of the things you want to check with the battery is just make sure that your connections for the battery cables are tight and clean. It's not uncommon that over time you may end up with some corrosion forming on the positive battery cable. That can be washed off easily with a solution of baking soda and water. There is also products available that you can spray on the terminals to prevent corrosion from forming. You do have a fuel filter down here in the belly of the machine. You want to watch that and make sure that you don't have a lot of gunk in there. If you do see debris in there, that's letting you know that there is something in the tank and it's getting as far as the filter. We're going to touch base on the importance of keeping that clean in just a minute. This side of the machine, closest to me, we do have the engine oil dipstick. It's located underneath this yellow cap. And what you do, you pull it out, wipe it clean, rest it back on the tube. Pull it back out, and you should be in the upper area of this dotted section to show that you're actually full. The engine oil filter and the oil drain are also on this side, right in this area. Nothing you do on a daily basis with that, but if you are the person that's going to be doing your own service on your tractor, easily located in one area so that you can not have to go all the way around the machine to work on it. Spark plugs, you have two of them, one on each side, right here and right here.
Okay.
Also, before you operate your machine, you should make sure that the air intake for the cooling of the engine is clean and free of grass. You can take your hand, just simply wipe it away. You could use a cloth to wipe it away also. On the front of the machine, you do also have an air intake area, and it could also be accumulating grass, leaves, debris. Keep all of that clear so that the engine can run cool and effectively, have enough horsepower to do the job that you want it to do. Something you want to check on a daily basis or before you operate your machine is look at your tires. The tires are a very important part of the quality of cut your machine is going to have, especially if you have a lawnmower on it. These tires are very low pressure tires. We run 14 pounds in the front, 10 pounds in the rear. And you can't use your typical automobile type pressure gauge because it doesn't start at a low enough pressure. This one is designed for low pressure tires. It starts at 1 psi and goes up to 20. So check your tires, make sure that they're inflated properly. Again, no matter what model you have in the X300 series, 14 psi in the front, 10 psi in the rear. Not every day does the machine need to be greased, but there are multiple grease points on the deck and the tractor itself. John Deere does provide multiple types of grease that are suitable for your machine. The most popular and most recommended is the heavy-duty multi-purpose lithium grease. That is available at the parts counter of the dealership. Let's talk about some of the switches, gauges, things like that that will be found on the operator's station of the tractor. Firstly, you will have over here on the left side the orange lever, which is your engine throttle. When operating this machine, you want to have the engine running at full throttle, have that lever all the way up. Next to it is the choke. When the engine is cold, you will want to apply a full choke and then crank the engine for no more than 10 seconds. The engine should start. If it doesn't, wait 10 or 15 seconds for the starter to cool, then go about trying to start the engine again. We have the steering wheel. We have a key switch. Now, this key switch has 4 positions. You've got stop, you've got run with the headlights on, you have run with the headlights off, and the actual cranking position. Below it, we have the PTO switch or mower engagement switch. You pull that up to turn it on, push it off to turn it down, shut it down. We also have over here the park brake lock and a cruise control switch. Now the park brake works in conjunction with the actual brake pedal. Push the pedal down, raise up the orange lever, you now have the park brake on. If you want to leave the machine with the engine running and the PTO turned off, you can do so by engaging the parking brake. You can then get off the seat, the engine will stay running. I mentioned the cruise control. Cruise control is the little black button right here that will only work in the forward direction of travel. When you push down on your forward pedal, and these are your directional pedals, forward and reverse, push down on the forward pedal, push down on the latch, now you are locked in the cruise position. If you want to shut the cruise control off, you can either give a slight touch to the forward pedal, or you can push the brake pedal and it's going to pop off itself. On the other side, we have a little yellow button here, and yellow in conjunction with the PTO button. This is called your Rio switch. You can see that on the dash there is nothing really explaining what it is, it's just there. The idea with the Rio switch is if you want to back up with the machine running, the PTO engaged, you have to do 2 things before you can actually back up and do that. Number 1, It's making you look behind you to make sure that there's nothing back there. A child hasn't come up, a pet hasn't come up. There might not be a toy laying there that you're going to run over. But when you want to back up with the mower deck, with the snowblower, this machine's currently equipped with a snowblower, you would push the yellow button down, push down the reverse pedal, and once you've started or have that pedal pushed, you can let up on the Rio switch and you will have the engine and the PTO running, being able to travel backwards. That is good for that time only. If you get to the other end of the yard, the other end of the driveway, and you want to do that again, you do have to go through the procedure of push down the button, push the reverse, then you can take off again. Now over here we have a mower. It says mower lift. Now, depending upon what series or what model you have in the X300 series, this is either a mower or implement latch, locking it in the up position, or if you've got a 370, a 390, or a 394, those are equipped with hydraulic lift. That is your raise and lower for the mower deck or the mounted attachment. On the left side, you do have the foot lift pedal. You push that down and you latch that. Now you have the snowblower, in this case, would be up. It's going to stay up, no problem. If by chance you've got an X500 series garden tractor, they are very similar in characteristic features as the X300 series. One big difference is you will notice that on the footboard here you have an orange button. This is referenced on the decal we talked about on the Fender deck, and you will see it on the X300 series also, but the machine is not equipped with it. This is a differential lock. Should you be snow blowing and you're going up an incline, the wheels are starting to spin, you can push that down. That's going to give you equal traction power between both of the rear wheels. So, like I'd mentioned, anything as far as operation is going to be quite similar between the X300 series, the X500 series. Down on the fender deck here, you do see a decal with a lot of information on it. This is where you can always reference back to make sure that what you're doing, or the lever, the knob you're going to be working with, is explained and you understand what's going on. The biggest thing right in the middle is this is your lift stop for the mower deck or your front attachment. You can use this to adjust your height of cut on a mower deck. It's listed in quarter of a degree marks, and that does not necessarily mean that it is in inches. It's just marked as a reference. So you can say to the wife, I mowed at 2.75 this time. Maybe next time we'll go to 2.5. You know, just a reference mark, not necessarily inches. One of the things that people have, or that I have seen, is the snowblower lift on this machine does work in correlation with this knob. If you do not have this lift stop knob down in the one position and you release the lift of your snowblower, it will not go down to the pavement. So if you run into that situation, it's a very common thing we do hear about at the dealership. People just, forget over the summer months, and it's a good refresher. A few minutes ago when we were talking about the fuel filter, I mentioned we were going to be talking about that again, and off the left corner of the fender deck here is your fuel tank filler. And the biggest thing, and I cannot say enough about it, is please, please, please make sure that you clear off the area around the cap before you open it up. Last year in the shop, we had about 35 machines where we had to remove the fender deck and the fuel tank to get it cleaned out because there was grass, bugs, leaves, miscellaneous gunk in the tank that was plugging up the fuel line. It's a couple hours to do that. Kind of a unneeded expense. We've got the seat right here. Seat is easily adjustable. You've got a lever right here. Slide that to the side, and you can move it backwards or forwards pretty much like you would in your automobile. On the back of the machine, we have a little silver lever that you use for putting the machine in a freewheeling mode. Example being, you want to just move it a couple feet in the garage. You don't want to start it up. You can pull this out and give the machine an easy push. Push it back in, and then you're going to be back to drive ability. You can see on the back here, we do have two weights as counterweight for the snowblower up front. Helps to get the machine around, put a little more grip traction with the back tires. You've got a little storage box right here. This customer has decided that he's going to keep spare shear bolts for his snowblower in here. Good place to keep maybe small pair of gloves, crescent wrench, key to the shed, whatever. It's just a little place Deere put so you can actually store something on the machine. The seat does tip forward, so you can tip it up when you're not using it, keep the rain off the seat. And you do have a couple of things going on right here. You can adjust the quality of the ride of your machine by adjusting the placement of these two springs. There are three positions: forward, middle, and farthest back rear. If you want a more bouncy ride, you can push the springs forward. If you want a more firm ride, you can pull them backwards. And your seat will have more or less bounce to it. Also, in a storage position under the seat, you've got a wrench and a depth stop. And these are used for leveling your mower deck. This wrench will fit through these holes. If you were wondering, that's what these holes are for. You can put this wrench down. It goes into the adjuster for the lift screw, and you can adjust it to level the deck. And this is basically a large thickness gauge. And on this machine, we can kind of show that it's designed to be able to go under the edge of the deck. This one is a little bit low, but I also didn't make sure that I had it in the proper set position. These are stored underneath the seat, so they are always there should you want to make an adjustment with your mower deck. They snap in and are easily stored right there. If your machine was equipped with a mower deck, we did talk about greasing. There's one extra grease zerk on the machines with the foot pedal lift that you do not have on the machines with the hydraulic lift. And that is a little grease zerk on the bottom of the pedal. And that is there to help lubricate that so that the pedal moves easier, and you can also just keep it from wearing that pivot out. The way this machine is sitting right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 grease zerks right here. If we added the 42A mower deck to it, we would have 2 more grease zerks there. If we added the 48 deck, we would pick up 1 more grease zerk, 2 more grease zerks for that one. Being that you have a snowblower on this, the controls over here on the side, we do have the chute rotation lever, and we've got the cable for adjusting the tipper on the spout. As you can see, there's a lot that goes into one of these machines. There's a lot as far as operating it, a lot as far as maintaining it. This video is not meant to eliminate the operator's manual that actually comes with your machine. It's just kind of a quick reference to help you get familiar with your machine. Parts and service are available at any of the Riesterer Schnell locations here in Wisconsin. Contact your service manager, your parts manager. They're more than willing to work with you should you have any questions. And I hope you enjoy your new X300 Series Lawn Tractor.